I mean, and Ben Shapiro himself will take the gloves off with black people and be oh, listen, you want to know why you have this? Because you're committing too much crimes. You're committing too much crimes. How about you stay married? How about you don't have kids out of wedlock? How about this?
Good point.
As soon as he... what I'm trying to say is...
Hold on, look at him. Good points, though. You're missing the point.
That there's like... there's obviously been atrocities committed on both sides, and all of that's bad. But I just like a lot of, like you can go... on YouTube, and you can find like Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager and all these guys. They have like these videos. It'll be like, the brief history of Israel by Ben Shapiro. It's like, well, the Jews wanted to start a free country, and then the Arabs attacked them. Like, I'm not even like exaggerating. That's like the story of their history. And it's like, well, I mean, there was a middle part there. That you kind of left
and
off.
I understand the need for a Jewish nation when...
I don't. So with that said, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. We have Andrew Schulz talking to Dave Smith about the tough topics, right? So when this came out, I mean, there's still, the genocide is still happening. But there was a time where, this is what Andrew Schulz does. He talks about a topic like, once or twice and everything. And it's like, oh, that's it. We don't need to keep talking about it. Like, you're still talking about that? Like, move on. Yeah, okay. So, but Andrew Schulz, Dave Smith, Akash, they're going to sit down. They're having those tough discussions. At least they're having them. We'll get right into it. Let's just go ahead and get right into it.
They historically get persecuted, slaughtered, whatever. I just feel like, maybe you just give them the Dakotas. You know what I mean? Like, we got some states we're not really using.
Have you heard a good foreign policy solution for the region? Like that protects Israel from getting ran over by Iran or any other aggressor.
Yeah, I mean, like
but also preserves.
So at every point, at every point that there were like meaningful negotiations, it was always basically predicated on the fact that 67 borders, and what they mean when they say 67 borders are basically the way it happened was as the Zionist settlers before Israel was created started moving to what was known as Palestine then, and they were trying to get more and more people to move there. At first, they had a lot of trouble getting most Jews who were like in London or New York or wherever were like, I'm an accountant and things are okay and I don't really feel like moving.
That's odd. So by the way, Dave Smith is Jewish, so guys, don't feel too scared about this topic or conversation. But I don't remember exactly what Andrew Schulz had to say about it. Like, I want to really kind of get to more of him talking about it, but we'll let it keep playing. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos. I will give my take at the end.
Going to be a poor farmer in Palestine. Like, what is this project? After World War II and after the Nazis were defeated, it really picked up steam, and a lot of people wanted to move. Yeah. There's a lot of it's a really interesting history.
They discovered Sephardics.
Well, that also happened like a little bit later as the Sephardic Jews all came. They were kicked out of neighboring Arab countries, but so
they weren't kicked out. You know what I mean? Like self-preservation. They weren't kicked out. There were terroristic attacks done by certain extreme factions of Zionists in Iran to make it appear as though like they were under attack, and then that's what happened because you need a campaign in order to get people to go to the desert. Like I'm certainly not leaving my house tomorrow to go to the desert. I'm sorry, I do have to stop it and say these things. Let's just move on because Andrew Schulz is acting like this is the first time he heard any of this stuff or whatever before, but I just y'all know how I feel about Andrew boy, you know what I mean? But like, let's just go ahead.
They made them squash, which is that Russia's going to keep parts of it.
Russia keeps parts of it. NATO doesn't get in. Military-industrial complex.
That the Jews get 56% of the land. But you could at least grant that, unlike what Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager say in their videos, no, there is a Palestinian side to this story where like a lot of those people were genuinely wronged. And yes, there were some Palestinians who embraced terrorism pretty early on. It was a very bad strategy for them, has not worked out well for their people, and also is just horrible and wrong. But the America ultimately coming into this, which the U.S. was not at first, but ultimately deciding that we will be unconditionally on one side of this conflict, I think was not smart or fair or wise.
And how did that happen? Was that AIPAC even back then, or do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. You know, there was a lot of interesting stuff kind of behind the scenes. I don't know exactly. I know that there were.
I'm going to help him out. He knows. So around that time, the ambassador to Britain was JFK's father, and he kind of saw what was going on in Germany. But his main thing was, we cannot have America getting involved in it, right? But then with certain type of strong influence by the Zionist Organization of America, we were put into that war, and then things happened, and then obviously this is like the great American story about how people were saved and all of that, but it really was more of a bankers kind of war thing. I don't glamorize war at all, right? And there were a lot of people who lost their lives, both of course, we already know certain events that took place. Nobody ever talks about Dresden, though. Nobody ever talks about it. But I mean, it's just like so much stuff in history that we just don't talk about. Dave Smith knows, right? But he's got to self-preserve, right? Like me, I'm abroad like this. I will dismantle in order for me to keep it real with you, man, I'm not preserving any lies, bro. Like, I'm not preserving, omitting of truth and things like that. Like, no. If somebody says to me like, oh, Haitians do a lot of voodoo, right? And some Haitians would be like, that's not true. That's not what that means. It means it's like, nah, they do. They do. Yes, they do. They do. My mother told me that, right? I'm not going to lie to somebody and be like, that's not true. That's just a stereotype. No, it's not.
To the thing you're alluding to there, it's like there are so many of these conservative types, the Ben Shapiro types, who, when Candace was taking the gloves off with black people, they were all like, yeah. You know what I mean? And like, and look, it's okay to take the gloves off with all groups of people sometimes. Sometimes you need tough love. But when she was like, and Ben Shapiro himself will take the gloves off with black people and be oh, listen, you want to know why you have this? Because you're committing too much crimes. You're committing too much crimes. How about you stay married? How about you don't have kids out of wedlock? How about this? Good point. But as soon as you... what I'm trying to say is...
Hold on, look at him. Good points, though. You're missing the point, right? But the thing is, though, I can't walk up to Ben Shapiro and his type and say, the infrastructure that you call... this place over there needs to be dismantled, and the infrastructure, right? Or I can't say, you're that country first, because there's laws written against that. So he's having some good points. He always makes sure to drop off the extra. That's what Andrew Schulz does. And the thing is, people think he does it because he's racist. No, it's not that. It is because I don't care what anybody says. This guy is ethnically Jewish, but it's okay. Like, look, hey, you never know. Hey, maybe if I did a 23andMe, I might find out that I am. It wouldn't change anything about me. I would still be me. That's not the point. But there's some people who would lie about that, or just constantly know how to manipulate the situation for self-preservation. A lot of people do that in many different groups.
So he was nailing it. And then, no, but then it's like, if you direct any of that energy toward Jewish people, and again, all of these things are like, the problem is, like, when you speak in terms of collectives, you always get everything wrong. Because if you're talking to the black community and you're like, hey, black people, you need to take care of your kids. There's like some black dad who's a great dad who's like, who are you talking to? Like, I do take care of my kids.
Know. Right. There's still black people. Man, we got to take care of them?
Yeah, right.
Thank God this fucking little hat guy told us we got to take care of them.
Yeah, like the black guy who's not taking care of his kids is like, I know I'm supposed to. I don't want to.
Making that jokes. I got jokes too, Dave. Stop playing. No, all right. Way back day. Okay.
but so, like,
you have black kids.
Yeah, I said I was getting milk on purpose. I needed an alibi.
The reason when there's these little Jewish kids, they don't run as fast, but these black ones run far.
The greatest. Come back, he goes, yeah, it's easy when they're little white kids. Sure, I take care of them. But like, again, like, look, but what Ben Shapiro would say to that, right, is like, okay, but I'm not talking to those people, but I'm talking talking about statistics here, and it's like, okay, fine, but look, then in this situation where for the last 10 months the state of Israel has just been like mass slaughtering these captive people in the most horrific way. But as soon as you take the gloves off with them, it's like, all of a sudden Ben Shapiro's the woke. All of a sudden, he's the same thing that he's been railing against the whole time. I'm offended. Safe space on college campus and all that. So I'm so disgusted.
Don't care about your feelings.
That guy.
They do.
All Mr. Free Speech and all. So I'm so disgusted with that. And I think what Israel's doing is totally wrong. But then, of course, with all these things, there are excesses on the, anti-Israel side. And I do see that all over Twitter, too.
I mean,
in my replies, people who are trying to back me up. First of all, I'm Jewish, so I'm probably not going to love. I'm probably not going to love your gas all the Jews comment. And then, second of all,
you didn't like DEFCON 3 on the Jews.
You're like, but then you're
one of the good ones.
Which, like, listen, if it ever goes down, I'll take it. But for now, I don't need it. But then it's like. You're also like, do you think you're helping me? Like, do you think you're helping the argument right now? Because no, you're making us.
So anyway, this was a good conversation, though. It was a good conversation. Andrew Schulz is the best, though. I gotta hand it to him. I won't stop saying it. Like, Andrew Schulz is the perfect type of agent. Okay, he leans into everybody else, but you don't get that much out of him. I can't wait to talk to him because I'm gonna be like, well, isn't your great grandparents from like Ashkenazi? Aren't they like, But that's not even the bigger question, right? Like, I love talking to people, right? But anyway, back to the point. Remember, he said 10 months here. It's been 18 months, going on 19. And now college campuses can't protest. They're not from America, so they shouldn't be able to protest anyway because we're American and we don't want them protest. Whatever nonsense that comes out of people's mouth with that one, right? Or by the way, they took on a definition saying that you can't talk about Jews killing Christ, right? So. And it's not something that I always wanted to talk about, but like now if you have a Bible study in the book of John in the college, like, better be careful, might be a problem. And look, the regular person, because this was me, right? Like when BLM was out there doing a bunch of stuff and saying it was for black people, I was like, y'all are not doing this for me. And I used to come out and be like, this ain't for me. I don't like this stuff. I don't expect anybody to do anything. I don't want anything from anybody. Dave Smith is a nice guy, and he goes as far as he can go. God bless him. Self-preservation is a real thing, and I understand that a lot of people are self-preserving, and for many reasons in many different groups. I respect it, and I respect it for what it is. At the same time, some people have gotten in my way, and just get out my way. That's it, right? But it's all good. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.